This program is provided by Universal Genesis.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing something maybe a little unexpected. We're taking Studio Ghibli's epic Princess Mononoke.
A masterpiece. Forests, gods, ironworks, just visually stunning.
Exactly. And we're connecting it to, well, Friedrich Nietzsche, the 19th century German philosopher.
Yeah, it sounds like a stretch at first, doesn't it? But our sources build this really compelling case. They argue Mononoke is basically like a cinematic guide to Nietzsche's big ideas.
Specifically the death of God, that whole concept, and then the path towards what he called life affirmation.
Right. The argument is that the film shows the collapse of the old religious order, the chaos that follows, and then, critically, how humans have to create new values.
So that's our mission today, yeah. To unpack how this amazing Japanese animated film could actually visualize 19th century German philosophy. Okay, let's dive in. Where do we even start? Nietzsche's most famous line, maybe.
Has to be. God is dead. And the film gives us this moment incredibly powerfully. The beheading of the forest spirit, the Shishiga.
By Lady Eboshi, yeah.
Yeah.
That scene is intense.
It really is. And the sources pinpoint this as the literal symbol. The death of God made manifest on screen. It's human reason, human technology, violently ending that transcendent spiritual authority.
But critically, in the film, killing the god isn't a victory lap for humanity. It unleashes hell, basically.
Exactly. That's crucial. Nietzsche wasn't celebrating. He was warning. Killing God means humans lose their roots, unleashing this terror. And you see it instantly in the film.
Oh, yeah. The decomposition, the black ooze spreading everywhere.
That's it. The Shishi God turns into this, deity of death, this giant toxic blob poisoning everything. It's the immediate consequence of ripping out the world's spiritual core. Pure chaos. Existential rot.
So killing the old order doesn't bring freedom, it brings a curse.
Yeah.
Which leads us right into Nietzsche's idea of the age of nihilism, doesn't it?
Perfect. That's what comes next, nihilism. The sources call it the value vacuum.
And Eboshi represents the force driving this, her rationalism, the iron, the guns.
She's the embodiment of that modern shift, moving away from faith, from myth, towards industry, towards, well, cold, hard reason. She destroys the sacred spiritual world.
And if that spiritual center collapses, morality goes with it, right? No more universal good and evil.
Precisely. That's the chaos. The old standards crumble. And you see it everywhere in the film, not just humans versus nature, but humans versus humans.
Everyone fighting for their own little slice of justice.
Their own survival, their own territory, the samurai, the Irontown folk. It becomes this endless cycle of revenge and destruction because there's no higher court of appeal anymore. It's a zero-sum game.
Wow. It really is a picture of being adrift, just like Nietzsche worried about. Okay, so this brings us to the characters. The sources say they aren't just characters, they're like philosophical forces.
Yeah, they embody the different responses to this crisis. It's almost a dialectic.
Yeah.
Let's start with Lady Eboshi. The sources label her Apollonian reason.
Apollonian. Right, that's about order, structure, clarity, control. Like Irontown itself, organized, geometric, built on fire and metal.
Exactly. Yeah. And her guiding principle is human progress above all else. Now, her intentions, you could argue, are enlightened in a way. She saves the sick, empowers women.
Yeah, a lot of people see her as this proto-feminist figure almost.
True, but the Nietzschean reading focuses on her method. It's absolute control. Nature, the forest, the gods, they're just resources, obstacles to be overcome or exploited for human benefit.
And shooting the god, that's the ultimate Apollonian act. Reason trying to eliminate the chaotic, the natural.
It's that impulse taken to its extreme, trying to impose rational control on the uncontrollable force of life, of physis. And it shows the limits of pure reason, even with good intentions, denying that essential chaos is destructive.
Okay, so pure reason has its dangers. That sets up the counterpoint perfectly. San Princess Mononoke herself, she must be the opposite force.
Absolutely. She a Dionysian life force, raw instinct, pure emotion, the wild, untamed energy of nature.
Everything Irontown tries to suppress. Her look, the mask, the fur, that ferocity.
She's pure impulse, deeply connected to the earth. But she's also pure suffering in a way. Her tragedy embodies the Dionysian spirit clashing with the modern world. She's caught in this impossible bind.
Neither human nor beast.
Exactly. She hates humans for what they've done, but she is human, fundamentally. She carries that consciousness. The sources call it the pure suffering of life in this godless age, hating the thing you were inescapably part of.
So Eboshi's destructive order, San's vengeful chaos, locked in this deadly struggle. Where does that leave Ashitaka? He gets caught right in the middle.
And that's the point. Ashitaka is designed as the figure who can transcend this binary. He's the potential Ubermensch, the overmensch.
Okay, let's clarify Ubermensch. It gets misused a lot, right? Like just Superman. What's the actual philosophical idea here?
Right, it's not about superpowers. The Ubermensch, for Nietzsche, is the person who sees God as dead, fully accepts the nihilism that follows, and then, this is key, takes on the burden of creating new values, overcoming the limitations of old morality.
And Ashitaka embodies this how? He literally carries the curse, the hatred, on his body.
He does. And he refuses to pick a side. He won't fully join Eboshi's civilization or San's wildness. He rejects easy answers, rejects simple good versus evil. He's looking for a third way.
The ethical person without ethics, as the sources put it. Trying to find a moral path without the old rulebook. How does he do it?
Through acceptance, really.
Yeah.
Accepting the suffering, his own curse, the world's chaos. He doesn't give in to the hatred that's literally consuming him. He sees the horror on both sides, but instead of despairing, he actively seeks, well, coexistence. He tries to forge something new.
And that culminates in that incredible line he says to San near the end. Live, you are beautiful.
That's it. That's the core instruction of the Ubermensch, is the Jasag and the yes saying to life. Even with all the pain, the ugliness, the chaos, the lack of some higher meaning, you affirm it.
Wow.
Ashitaka looks at San, who embodies that wild suffering, and he blesses her existence. He's saying, I see it all, the destruction, the struggle, and yet, yes, this life right here is valuable. It's worth living.
That really shifts how you see the ending, because it's not a neat resolution, is it? Ashitaka and San agree to live, but separately. He'll help rebuild Irontown. She stays in the forest. It's messy.
It's messy because life is messy. The sources connect this directly to Nietzsche's Zarathustra. The death of God isn't an apocalypse. It's a creative blank space. The old map is gone. Now humans have to draw a new one, knowing the struggle continues. There's no easy, happily ever after.
And the forest starting to grow back, that cycle, that ties into eternal recurrence.
Yeah. It's a powerful visual for it, yeah. The cycle of destruction and creation will continue. The forest regrows, maybe humans encroach again. The conflict might return in different forms. Eternal recurrence is Nietzsche's ultimate test.
Can you love your fate? Can you affirm this life exactly as it is, with all its pain and joy, and will its infinite repetition?
That's the challenge. Not fatalism, but an active choice. Can you say yes to the whole package, the good and the bad, forever? Ashitaka's life is that superhuman affirmation, the Übermenschliche Bejahung. He chooses life, right here on Earth, within its cycles. No escape to heaven, no idealized past. Just this.
Okay, to really nail this down, the sources compare this ending to 3 different ways of thinking about renewal or regeneration. Let's break those down.
Yeah, this really helps clarify Mononoke's specific stance. First, you've got the sort of Christian salvation model, transcendence. Renewal comes from outside this world, divine grace, heaven.
So, in that view, the Shishigod's death would be like a fall. Irreversible damage only fixable by something beyond the natural world.
Exactly. Then Model 2. Nietzschean circular recurrence, immanence. Everything happens within this world. Regeneration is part of the earthly cycle. Destruction and creation are 2 sides of the same coin, and you have to affirm both. No escape.
Okay, transcendence versus immanence. Where does Mononoke, as a Japanese work rooted in Shinto and animistic ideas, fit?
It lands firmly in a third space, which the sources call animistic natural regeneration, continuity. It strongly aligns with Nietzsche's immanence value as found here on Earth, but it gives it this distinctly Japanese natural spiritual feel.
So the god dies, the specific form is gone, but the life force itself isn't destroyed.
Precisely. Life circulates, the water clears, the rain falls, new plants sprout, the energy just transforms, returns to the soil. It's a continuous flow deeply rooted in the natural world itself, rather than purely a philosophical act of will like in Nietzsche.
So the film manages to visualize this incredibly profound philosophy of life affirmation, but through its own cultural lens. It shows life persisting, regenerating from within, after the death of the ultimate external authority.
It's a synthesis. It moves past the need for a transcendent God by finding the sacred in the immanent cycle of life, decay, and rebirth. It shows that life itself, its sheer vitality, provides the meaning, even after the old certainties collapse.
That's quite a powerful reading of the film. It transforms Princess Mononoke from just an environmental story into, like you said, a myth for living after the death of God, a guide for finding meaning in chaos.
It really challenges us, doesn't it, to find value without guarantees.
It absolutely does. Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. If Ashitaka's path affirming life, seeking coexistence, creating value even amidst suffering and uncertainty, is a kind of model for navigating our complex world.
A world where old rules often don't seem to apply anymore.
Right. Think about a time you faced a tough moral choice, maybe personally or professionally, where the usual guidelines just broke down when the map disappeared. Did you find yourself searching for some simple, absolute answer from outside? Some lost certainty?
Or did you try to act like Ashitaka? Did you accept the complexity, the suffering, the lack of easy answers, and try to affirm life, to create something positive within that messy reality? It's the harder path, for sure. The path of the Übermensch demands we make our own light. Something to think about. Until next time, keep digging.
This program is provided by Universal Genesis.